Let us discuss about what is Agile, the Agile Manifesto, and the Agile principles. Agile is a common term used for a family of frameworks like Scrum, Extreme Programming, Test-Driven Development, Scaled Agile, Disciplined Agile. There are n number of frameworks available, and newer things are happening in every 6 months. The common thread of all these agile frameworks is the iteration. It revolves around an iteration, and they'll have daily stand-up meetings. At the end of the iteration, there will be a review, and before the iteration, there is a planning meeting. And this is the common thread running across all these agile frameworks. Out of this, the most popular agile framework is Scrum, because it can be applied across different disciplines, whereas all the other frameworks are IT specific or software specific, whereas Scrum has wider applications. The origin of Agile, it is not something new, it is very old, at least 20, 25 years old. See, when the IT industry was very new, what happened was they imbibed the procedures and the processes from other mature industries like construction and manufacturing, and tried to implement those things in the IT spectrum. And that was a disaster. Yes, it had its own benefits. At the same time, there were a lot of disadvantages also. Because in IT, it is easy to change things, whereas in construction, it is not easy to change things once the construction starts. So we need highly predictive models for construction kind of work, whereas in IT, the engineering discipline allows us a lot of freedom to change things. But if you try to prevent that opportunity, that will have a negative impact on customer satisfaction and the product acceptance, those kind of things. Because when we do things, we gain more insight about the product, and the marketing, the environment is also very dynamic. So, and the engineering discipline allows for change, then why don't embrace it than resist that opportunity? So that was the thought process of many thought leaders at that time, and they came together and they drafted this Agile Manifesto, which says individuals and interactions over processes and tools. We value interactions and heavy duty processes over we value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. We believe in working software over massive documentation or comprehensive documentation. We believe in customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and we believe in responding to change over following a plan. See, we promote individuals and interactions over heavyweight processes and tools. We need to communicate with other team members, communicate, collaborate, so that things will happen than controlling them with too many processes. We need some set of very lightweight processes which adds tremendous value, but at the same time, it is not just process alone. It is about working together as a team, communicating with each other whenever a need to communication arises. And don't send me big reports and all. If something is done, please demonstrate and show. So that is the meaning of we believe in working software over comprehensive documentation, because the software itself is a documentation. We believe in customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Contract is okay, fine, but we need to collaborate with the client. Otherwise, we may complete the project, but the deliverable out of the project may not be of any use to anybody. So recently I was talking to somebody and he was saying, contract is signed, it is fixed price, we started development, the scope started changing. And he was asking me, what should we do? That go and communicate to the clients that okay, this is the situation, and if we follow this pattern, it is going to be disaster. And we also have constraints because we have signed a fixed price contract, and maybe change it to a time and material kind of thing in good faith. Talk to the CEO of the client, and he did that. The client agreed. So the balance part of the project, they're going to follow agile and time and material kind of a contract with an upper ceiling allows for better collaboration. Scope changes will happen, so the supplier cannot make huge losses. So we need to get into those kind of contractual obligations and rigid contracts, so that the collaboration is possible. And we believe in responding to change over following a plan. Yes, plan is required at a higher level. Things may change during development and post-development. Uh, we are okay with that. We are anticipating change. Now, the last sentence is very critical. That is why there is value in the items on the right. We value the items on the left more. We believe in working software than on comprehensive documentation means. It doesn't mean zero documentation. We need just enough documentation which can be used for development as well as post-development for maintenance purposes. So whatever is adding value, good value to the development process and to the post-development phases and to the product at large, we should do. And whatever is not adding value, we need not do. So just because we were doing things, it doesn't mean that we should be continuing like that. Things can be questioned, things can be challenged, things can be improvised, and make them leaner and leaner and leaner and more user friendly and more value added. So that is the spirit that is getting communicated through this Agile Manifesto. They are not talking about zero documentation. They are not talking about a free for all change kind of a situation. Everything is disciplined, self-disciplined, and just enough of everything to ensure that the right product is built which can be of use to the society at large, because we may build great products, but there are no takers for it. What is the use? So that is perfect. And how do we accomplish this? To support this, we have 12 agile principles. The first principle is satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery. So we are not going for big bang release at the end of the development process. So keep releasing to the customer as quickly as possible. So we have continuous release to the customer. That is happening now. Daily releases are there. Some teams are using daily releases to the customer. Whatever you have done, test it and then release it kind of thing. Then weekly releases are there, monthly releases are there. The big bang at the end of the project releases are gone. So satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery. Another advantage of this is we will be able to collect feedback on what is being developed, and the client will be able to think through it better and give you more insights or inputs so that that can be corrected much earlier in the development process itself. Principle two, we welcome changing requirements even late in development. This is a nice catchphrase. We welcome changing requirements even late in development. But to do this, your design must be correct. Your design must be open to change. So halfway through the development process, if we try to implement changes, and if the design is not modular enough to accommodate changes quickly, then we will have problems. So this aspect must be considered while defining the architecture of the product itself. Principle three, deliver working software frequently. Don't show screenshots and say this is what you're going to get. Release minimum viable uh, features so that the customer can start using them. And business peoples and developers uh, must work together. That is principle number four. Uh, Many organizations where I participated in transitioning teams from predictive styles to agile styles, or by implementing Scrum. The biggest benefit they got is after implementing Scrum, the collaboration between the business guys and the IT teams that became much better, and they started working as a single united entity than two separate things, because most of these managers are front-end managers, they are from business, and actually they become the product owners, and IT supports them to implement um, their projects. So they must work together as a team, and with a good implementation of Scrum, that is easily achievable. And without getting that commitment, we should not even start implementing. That is where the top management has a major role to play. Principle number five, that is build projects around motivated individuals. See, some of the roles and responsibilities of Scrum Masters or here itself it will come. We are talking about 8-hour working days. What is the reason for this? Because there are organizations where teams are highly motivated, they get addicted to, or they get engrossed into what they're doing, and they don't go home and relax. And they keep working endlessly, because Google and all, they were talking about 20-hour working days, and people stay in the same office and work. When it got started, because the owners and the programmers, it's all same, so they had a dream and they kept on coding. So we are talking about such teams. With an uncommitted team, we cannot do anything. So we need committed people, uh, so that, and don't demotivate them. We need motivated people, highly committed teams, and please ensure that they don't get demotivated during the course of project execution. Then face-to-face conversation. That is much, much better than sending emails and memos and WhatsApp messages. But here now we are all working from different locations, maybe working from home. But at least whenever we have meetings, please switch on the cameras and and we should be able to see each other. And that's how this can be implemented in our current scenario. Uh, Working software, that is principle number 7. Working software is the primary measure of progress. It is not lines of code per day. It is not the defect densities. It is not the earned value versus plan value. So it is all about working software. That is the measure of progress. And principle number 8, we are talking about sustainable development. Again, this is where that 8-hour working day, 40 hours per week, and after 8-hour working days, we must be able to go home or go hit the gym and relax, sleep for 7 hours, come back fresh and continue your work. I've seen many teams where they work 14 hours on a particular day, and the remaining days they work only actually 6 hours per day. So we are only getting an illusion. This may happen or can happen maybe in crisis situation, but then it should not become the rule. Another organization, what I saw is people are just waiting because their boss has not gone home. And the boss is waiting because his boss has not gone home. So they are not sitting in the office because they work. They are, they are sitting there just because their boss is still there. So these kind of stuff we should be able to eliminate so that people can, as soon as they complete their work, they can go and relax, come back fresh, and this cycle can go endlessly. Otherwise, our teams will get burned out and they'll get demotivated, and it will affect the project in the longer run. Then principle number 9, that is about good design. So continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. From my experience, I will say this is mandatory. Because I've seen many projects switching to agile because waterfall did not work for them. And they are unable to implement agile because the architecture of the system is not conducive for change. It is not a modular architecture. So it is important to have a highly modular architecture to change things quickly. And without the ability to change things quickly, uh, the software will not scale or the development process cannot scale. So that is a problem. That is a big problem. So agility must be in our mind from the design phase onwards. Then the principle number 10, we are talking about simplicity. That is about the art of maximizing the amount of unwanted work not done. So we should question things continuously, like what is the value we are getting by doing this? Or what is the value we will lose if we don't do this? So that is very important. Only then we can become leaner and more agile. Then principle number 11, that is about self-organizing team. In good agile implementations, what is advocated is self-organizing team. That means there is a scrum master. The scrum master will play the role of a servant leader. And who is a servant leader? The guy who facilitates the whole thing and removes impediments faced by the team. But during the planning meeting, the work for next 30 days is decided, and the team will decide how they are going to do it, who will do what. So that is the essence of self-organizing team. Uh, this will bring in better ownership to the development process. Then team reflections or retrospectives, that is the principle number 12, are regular intervals the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. So in Scrum, at least, we have a sprint retrospective meeting at the end of the sprint. The end of the sprint, the teams sit together and then analyze what all things we did right and what all things we could have done better. And they try to improve those things in the next sprint. So the team reflections or retrospectives are very, very important. This was there in the waterfall project also, but the issue is it happens only at the end of the project and the project team doesn't benefit out of it. Whereas here, every iteration completes with a retrospective meeting and the learnings are pumped back into the next planned cycle. That way, the same project team benefits from their retrospective findings. So that is the 12 Agile principles. So we started with what is Agile, then we visited the Agile Manifesto, and then we also visited the 12 Agile principles. So if you want to get more insights about these things, you can go to the original site, that is agilemanifesto.org. So this site, that is the site which is maintained by the guys or the thought leaders who formulated these things. So we have the celebrity guys there, software guys there, and that is agilemanifesto.org. But see, these things are very software centric. When we try to implement Scrum in non-IT environments, most of these things are applicable, but maybe sometimes some of these things may need tweaking, a little bit of tweaking. I mean, 99% holds good for any type of work we do, but then certain things are slightly software specific. So let us have that in our mind. Thank you very much. And I'll be coming out with more videos on how to apply Scrum in any discipline. It may not be just software. It could be marketing. It could be law firms. It could be content creators. It could be even those guys who runs a YouTube channel, creative field, somebody who's in the research and development projects. These things can be applied during the engineering phases of a construction or a EPC project, because that is very much similar to IT projects kind of thing, where mainly what you're doing is you're coming out with engineering designs, that is the deliverable, whereas in IT, it is the software that is the deliverable. But then it's very similar. So thank you, and hope to meet you soon in the subsequent videos.